Welcome back to Inside City Hall. We're turning our attention now to the upcoming congressional primaries. Many incumbents in traditionally Democratic districts are facing tough challenges from young newcomers, and that includes several campaigns here in our city. With less than 2 months to go until New Yorkers head to the polls, tonight we're going to focus on the Democratic primary race for the 12th Congressional District, which includes the east side of Manhattan and parts of Queens and part of Brooklyn. Last week, we had first-time candidate Suraj Patel on the show to discuss his run against longtime Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. Tonight, Congresswoman Maloney joins me to talk about her re-election bid. Welcome back to the program. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you. Thank you for having me.
You know, that map, it's startling. I didn't realize you had as much of Brooklyn as it looks like, but that's somewhat deceptive. Most of the people are on the Manhattan side, right?
Exactly.
I mean, what are the neighborhoods in Brooklyn, and is it like industrial over there?
It's residential. It's Greenpoint and Williamsburg. It's really really emerging, a lot of activity, a lot of new buildings, a lot of community activity. It's a great district. We just created a new park on the water, 28 new acres that we convinced the mayor to buy for the community, and also Astoria and Long Island City in Queens that are emerging with all kinds of new building and developments and activity.
Okay, sort of a waterfront district on both sides of the East River.
Right.
You have a challenger. He had some things to say. He was recently on the show. I know you've seen it, but for some of our viewers who did not, here's a little bit of what Suraj Patel had to say.
For the last decade or so, the Congresswoman has not had a substantive legislation or a piece of legislation she's authored or passed. So I don't believe that she's effective.
Okay, I take it you object to that characterization.
Well, I would say passing the 9/11 Health and Compensation Act that gave health care virtually for the lives of our first responders and compensation is a rather significant accomplishment. I would say building the 2nd Avenue subway after 100 years of planning is rather significant. I would say the Kosciuszko Bridge, connecting the Brooklyn and Queens section of my district, has $690 million in federal funds. It was the worst bridge in the state. It's now going to be the best with 9 lanes, parks, beautiful, beautiful, opening soon. I have over $10 billion coming into my district in various infrastructure projects, notably the L train that is going to be refurbished because of Sandy. I would say that being rated by GovTrack.com as the most productive Democrat in the Congress is a record to run on, and I've authored and passed over 70 different bills, and 11 of them were in bill signings with the President of the United States at the time, and just had a bill signing 2 weeks ago with President Trump. I wasn't able to go because I was defending the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
What was that last bill about? The one
it was about sex trafficking. When I first started working on it, it wasn't even a crime. I wrote Janet Reno about it. She says it's not even a crime. So working across the aisle, we made it a crime. We've continued to combat sex trafficking. It's a horrible crime. It kills people. Guns you sell once, drugs once. You sell the human body over and over again, and many young people are drugged and tricked and really kidnapped. And the tech community, Backpage and others, were selling young girls and boys on the internet. And it's very, very hard, as you know, to take on financial interests when they're making money. But we took it on and we won. It was a hard battle. We worked on it for a lot of years, totally bipartisan, and the president signed it into law. And it's an incredibly strong and important bill, and it will literally save lives.
Okay, so now in some cases there are actual bills that are passed, and so I take it your opponent just has those facts wrong as far as you're concerned. But you're also referring to some things that involve city and state projects. You seem to be suggesting that there's more to your record than just whether or not you were at a bill signing ceremony.
Well, absolutely. Part of it is bringing federal dollars back to the city, and then making sure that the subway is built, that it doesn't become a promise that was there for 100 years. My staff and I worked on every day pushing that project, and also the K Bridge, the Kosciuszko Bridge. resiliency, the rebuilding around Lower Manhattan for flood control, the L train that's going to connect Brooklyn and Manhattan. It's being refurbished with the tune of $780 million in federal funds. That's a huge, huge project. The down payment on high-speed rail between New York and Boston, nothing would grow our city more than that happening, and that's the straightening of the tracks in the Harold Interlocker. We need to build a Sunnyside track in Queens. That's not paid for now, but it's in the mayor's plan. I'm very pleased that he put it in his plan. We need to get it in the MTA plan. There's lots of things that happens. This is an exciting city. We've got a lot of things happening.
Well, let me ask you then, you know, it is campaign season. Let's talk some politics. There seems to be a blue wave building. I think many people expect that. If that were to happen, you and a lot of other people would become committee chairs. The seniority would really pay off. There's all kinds of great stuff that would happen. But much of this blue wave is being driven by young people who are either discontented or not terribly impressed by longtime office holders in the Democratic establishment in general, not thrilled about the prospect of Nancy Pelosi returning to power as Speaker of the House and so forth. What do you say to those folks, since they are powering this blue wave?
Well, I'd say the blue wave is being powered by many things, including the President of the United States, that would like to see a change in direction. And it's just astounding. When we started, I did not think that we would take back the House. We have to gain 23 seats. But well over 45 Republicans are retiring, and it is growing. And the indication from Virginia, winning seats that we've never won, and not only Virginia, but also Alabama, and all of these seats that we're challenging and winning. So there, it's a movement. I think everybody cares pretty much about the same things. They want a safe city. They want a safe environment to live in. They want the opportunity to have equality of opportunity and the ability to grow their talents to the extent that they can.
Will you support, if the Democrats do win, would you support Nancy Pelosi?
I believe we are going to take back the House, and I believe she will be Speaker again.
And that sounds like you would support
that.
Okay. It's interesting. The president is your constituent, the more I think about it, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Okay, interesting. Does he or anybody in his family or in his orbit ever contact you for sort of some of the routine things that a constituent might want done? I mean, I know they've had a huge headache on 58th Street, and there's some traffic issues, maybe some security issues, homeland security.
We call it Trump traffic. I've been involved with the traffic, and also there's a loophole in the law that says that we are not, meaning the federal government, responsible for paying for the security between the time that you are elected and sworn in. And there was a huge gap that cost the city $68 million protecting the family between the time that he was sworn in as president. And I was deeply involved in getting the city reimbursed for that $68 million. And if there's something that I feel should be funded, such as the 2nd Avenue subway, the Kosciuszko Bridge, the Resiliency Fund, I certainly contact them, and if I object, such as the Muslim ban and their anti-woman, anti-environment, anti-labor, I contact the I contact the administration, voicing the concerns of myself and my constituents.
Okay, right. You are his constituent, and he is yours. We're kind of interesting, unique arrangement. We're out of time. I wanted to invite you to come back and debate Mr. Patel. Will you do that here on New York One?
I certainly will debate all of my opponents. There are 3 of us running.
Okay. I did not know about the third. Who might that be?
Oh gosh, there's a Mr. Linder running, and you know, we have quite a few people running.
Okay,
so we'll see.
Okay,
I'll debate them all of them.
Okay, she's bring them on. Okay, we'll see about that. Thanks for coming by. Let's take a short break here. We've got lots more tonight, including my thoughts about a high-profile inmate who was once again up for parole, with some important lessons for all of us. Stay with us.